Matshasano atigoyastvam achirat bhashyase shriyaha. Word-to-word meaning. Oh, actually, maybe can repeat. Matchasantigo yastvam achirat bhashyase shriyaha. Sabdo yasmad upekshaya sastam gyaha, at the same time foolish. Stabda, impudent. Asi, you have become. Asmat, of us. Upekshaya, by disregarding. Matsashana atigaha, surpassing the jurisdiction of my administration. Yaha, such a person as you. Tvam, yourself. Achirat, very soon. Bhashyase, will fall down. Shriya, from all opulences. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Although you have no knowledge, you have become a so-called learned person, and therefore you dare to be so impudent as to disobey my order. Because of disobeying me, you shall very soon be bereft of all your opulences. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Bali Maharaj was not Pandit Mani, a one who falsely assumes himself learned. Rather, he was Pandit Manya Gyaha, one who is so learned that all other learned persons worship him. And because he was so learned, he could disobey the orders of his so-called spiritual master. He had no fear of any condition of material existence. Anyone cared for by Lord Vishnu does not need to care about anyone else. Thus, Bali Maharaj could never be bereft of all opulences. The opulences offered by Supreme Personality of Godhead are not to be compared to the opulences obtained by Karma Kanda. In other words, if a devotee becomes very opulent, it is to be understood that his opulence is a gift of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such opulences will never be vanquished, whereas the opulences achieved by one's fruitive activity may be vanquished at any moment. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guru Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschadeshtarine. So, in this verse, as we know, chapter is Bali Maharaj surrenders the universe to Lord Vamandev. This is spoken by Sukadeva Goswami, and actually Sukadeva Goswami is reiterating Shukracharya's word. And this verse, if we read carefully, it has two meanings, as often happens in Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's what our Prabhupada comments and quotes Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He often does that. Something is spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam, and he actually changes the meaning, and that is the actual meaning of the verse. Just like, for example, when Shishupal was abusing Krishna in Ratsuyagya. He was just abusing, but then Prabhupada writes that, the commentary says that, he was abusing, but Saraswati changed his words in such a way that his abuse was glorifying Krishna. So, all the demigods and the entire nature serves Krishna, and they don't want anything bad or evil to approach him. So when Bali Maharaj speaks, Shukracharya is speaking something to Bali Maharaj. Actually, Vishwanath Thakur is saying that because Bali Maharaj is a pure devotee, he is reinterpreting words of Shukracharya of Sanskrit, and he is trying to glorify Bali Maharaj rather than actually condescending him. So that is how devotees read Srimad Bhagavatam. We don't want to hear something bad about any devotee. We don't want to hear. Although Shukracharya is saying something, but Vishwanath Thakur takes in another way. So devotees are like that. We redefine things, and that was actually one of the most important aspect of Srila Prabhupada. In his books, he redefined words, and that is why his book is as it is. Because many scholars and people, they academically try to understand these books, but they could not. Prabhupada redefined words. For example, he redefined Buddhi Yoga as Krishna Consciousness. Now, academically, Buddhi Yoga means something intelligent yoga. Prabhupada redefined Maya. Maya, if you see in all books of any scholar, it will be defined as illusion. Prabhupada does that. Prabhupada writes that meaning. But then he explains illusion means misconception. That's beautiful. Prabhupada redefines enthusiasm as intelligent actions in Krishna consciousness, in nectar of instruction. So Vishwanath Thakur is doing the same thing here. He is trying to glorify Bali, where Shukra is trying to actually curse him. So there are two meanings to this verse. One is a bad one, one is a good one. So first let us see bad and then good. Let us finish by good thing, not bad. But what Shukra is trying to say, Shukracharya is also speaking something. Shukracharya is an experienced person, by the way. He is guru of demons. Initially he was with demigods. He is a Brahmana. He was friend of Brahaspati, both of them, Shukra and Brahaspati. It is said in Padma Puran. But they had fight. So Shukracharya told, well, fine, I'm going to demons and I'll become their guru. And that's how he went there. And he's austere, he's intelligent. There is a shastra written by Shukracharya, Shukra Niti, like Chanakya Niti. So he has written Shukracharya Niti. It's very famous and very much consulted. It was consulted by kings and all these politicians to actually understand how to rule the kingdom. So Shukracharya, when he speaks, there is some teaching there. He wants to teach us something. So what he speaks? He says, there's a verse, we can have that verse. He says, Dridam Pandita Manyagya. So he says, well, Bali, you are Dridam. Dridam means you are convinced in your decisions. Now, what do you think? In other words, what do you think? You think it's correct. And that is the fall down of any devotee. From this point, we start falling down. And that is what Shukracharya is trying to help us to understand. Why we do offenses. Why actually we lose enthusiasm in sadhana. Because we start thinking, because we have some ideas and we start, it's not bad to have ideas, wrong ideas. Everybody has some wrong ideas. And they automatically come in our mind. We are conditioned. So mind will try to trick you, but the bad thing is to actually partake in those ideas, to befriend them, to entertain them. So you have some idea, okay, well, this is not correct, and you start believing in those ideas. That's the problem. So that is the word Dridam. This is the point where we start falling down. And in other words, Shukracharya is teaching, don't assume that we are correct. That is our problem. Number one problem of all of us in this material world is assumption. We assume that we are correct. And that happens in material world also. 99% of problems in management, in communication, among devotees is due to assumption. I assume he's thinking like that. He assumes I'm thinking like that. But actually we are not thinking like that. And there starts fighting and there start problems. And that is why if you read Shukracharya Niti, Shukracharya says one thing. He says if you want to avoid problems in any management, the best policy is communicate. Communicate. And that is why Prabhupada said, have Ishtagoshti, And actually that's very important. Every week we should meet, we should talk, we should communicate. And that is why you see corporate people. They have meetings and meetings and meetings. I used to think, previously. But by profession I was a doctor. So I don't know really how corporate things work. But I used to think, why they have meetings, so many meetings. It's a waste of time. But actually it's not waste of time. The more meeting you have, the more things become clear. There are no assumptions and things go on. So no devotee is actually bad, or we think like that. We assume like that. And from assumption comes misconception. And so we assume we are this body. That's okay. But then we are convinced about it. We are convinced about it. So Dridam, because of our belief in wrong ideas, what we think, Pandita Mane Agya, we become Pandita Mani. We think ourselves very learned because of that. Unlike Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who said, I am very foolish, I am a fool, I am stupid. He said to his Guru. So we start thinking, okay, I know this, I know that, I am better than this. We start thinking like that. And because of that Pandita Mani, that thinking ourselves to be very learned, although we are not learned. In one sense, nobody is learned here. Even if we read entire Bhagavatam, entire Chaitanya Charitamrita, all Sanskrit, still from an absolute point of view, we have absolutely no knowledge compared to people, 100 years back, 50 years back maybe. In Vrindavan, there are few devotees I met, not in ISKCON, but they are so learned in the sense they know the books, that they can chant Bhagavad Gita from first verse to last verse and then write in the reverse from last verse to first verse. People are like that. People are very intelligent and they have good brains like that. I met a person in Jagannath Puri, devotee, not in a sampradaya. He could speak on one verse of Bhagavatam for 3 months. 3 months. You can guess what he's speaking. People are scholarly. So no matter how much learned we are, we should know that from absolute platform, we are fools actually. That's a reality. That's a reality. We are fools, we'll always remain fools. That's all. That's the most intelligent thing we can do in life. Let us consider ourselves stupid. But that does not mean we do not read books. We read books, we understand, but so Pandita Mani, because of understanding ourselves very learned, we become Agya. Agya means foolish. People who think they know things, they are the most foolish people in this world. Because Einstein said that I am collecting pebbles on seashore. Very wise people. Wise people know. Like for example, Madhvacharya quotes this example. People who are standing on beach, they can appreciate ocean. And they think we can go and swim, it's so nice. And people swim in ocean and they are not afraid of ocean. But as you enter the ocean, go in a ship and go, as you enter, then we understand what is an ocean. And we have fear of it. People who travel for the first time in ocean, they have fear, and so big ocean, and it's fearful. So as we enter knowledge, we understand this is unfathomable. If you stand on the shore, if you have less knowledge, generally we think we are learned. But the more knowledge, real sense we have, real devotee, a wise person thinks, oh, there's so much to know. It's impossible. It's impossible. The more you go in intricacies, it becomes complicated. There's so many contradictions, so many things to handle. Every question becomes so complicated as you dive deep in that. So devotee, well, I cannot comprehend. Okay, fine. We have to understand Krishna Prabhupada says, try to understand Krishna, but only that much, how much He has revealed to us. Not more, not less. Otherwise we get complicated. And then there are so many different kind of questions comes up. So agya, we become foolish. Our knowledge gets destroyed. That's the idea. You know what? Karna was so knowledgeable, so courageous. He had all kind of knowledge of all shastras. His guru was Pashuram. But when the point came, it was most needed, he failed. His knowledge failed. Because of curse of Pashuram, when he was fighting Arjuna. Similarly, a person who thinks himself very knowledgeable, when point comes of its use, he'll become foolish. His whole knowledge, Krishna will steal his knowledge. He'll not be able to apply it. So I know so many things, I'm sense controlled, I can understand this. But when situation comes, you will fail. Krishna will make sure you will fail. He will make sure. And this happens, no? When object comes in front of you, when you face an object, you face a circumstance, people fail. People get fear. People are involved in lust. They lose sense control. And that's the point. And Krishna is very smart, Prabhupada says. Prabhupada says he's smart. We can't cheat him. He knows exactly what is there in our heart. So, and he can tolerate a lusty person. No problem. He can tolerate an angry person. He can tolerate a greedy person. But he can never tolerate a proud person. He can never do that. Even his own associates, Satyabhama, she is his wife, and she got proud. That why, Rukmani has Parijat flower and I don't have. Krishna, you please bring. Krishna actually devised a plan so that she gets a Parijat flower, but at the same time she understands, I should not have thought like that. He doesn't even spare his own associates if they have proud. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, as soon as Krishna detects even a tinge of pride in the heart of his devotees, he will take an urgent action and he will destroy that. No matter whatever plan he has to devise, whatever he has to do, he will do that. Because lust, greed, anger will not take you away from Krishna. But pride will. And you know how? Pride will convince you are more intelligent, and then you will go away from Krishna yourself. By your own will. Maya need not snatch you away from Krishna. You will yourself say, Maya, I am coming to you. And that's a problem. Then who can save you? Nobody can save us. So that is what Prabhupada says, be like a lion. What's like a lion outside, a tiger outside, and a lamb within the community of our devotees. That's very important. So in fact, you know what, people in America, they make tattoos. It's a custom. I was thinking, we can make a tattoo, right? Fool hair, stupid hair, and then keep on seeing, because we forget things. We should be with. It is said it is better to be with those devotees who criticize you rather than flatter you. Because they are your real friends. They will make you remember that you have no value. You have absolutely no value. But it's difficult to remain with such kind of devotees. You can't just keep on listening. But we are thankful to them that they help us remember. There was one great acharya, the Ramanacharya's guru, Mahamuni. Mahamuni, yeah. He was giving a lecture in Sri Rangam, and one person, he got up and he started criticizing him left, right. Just started criticizing him left, right. You are like this, you are nonsense, you are this, you are that. And he started weeping. Like tears were there. So all his disciples, they said, beat him now. We'll just thrash him. Mahamuni said, no, stop. He said, I'm not weeping because I'm sad. I'm weeping because I'm very happy. Sometimes there are tears of happiness. No, Prabhupada says in Nectar Devotion, cold tears of happiness. So disciples said, what happened? He said to that person, I am very thankful to you now, because I was thinking I am a great guru so many years and have so many disciples, but you actually helped me today to understand that I am nothing. But I am sad also, because after so many years you criticized me. You could have criticized the very first day and I would have been set right. This is a devotee. It's very difficult to attain this platform. It seems almost impossible to think like that. But by Krishna's mercy, anything can happen. So that's Agya. Krishna makes sure we become fool in front of people. He will do that to crush our pride. And because of foolishness, Stabda. Stabda means impudent. Impudent, what do you mean by impudent? What's a synonym of impudent? Obstinate? Obstinate? Arrogant, actually arrogant. So because of arrogance with obstinacy, that's maybe impudence. So because of foolishness, we become impudent. If you try to instruct a foolish person, you know what will happen? He will become convinced that he's right. That's the idea. It is said in Niti Shastra, give logic to intelligent and flatter fools. If you give them logic, they'll not hear you. They'll not hear you. So that is why Prabhupada said, when you go for book distribution, don't give logic. They're all fools, no? They're all obstinate people. You give them more logic, then they will say, who cares for them? Just flatter them. You are intelligent. Prabhupada says, no, when you go for book distribution, tell them you are intelligent, but you know what, now you please try to read this, you can understand this. Like that. That's a use of intelligence. So people become obstinate, arrogant, when they become foolish. The more foolish you become, you know what happens? When a fool takes knowledge, he becomes more foolish. That's what happens. When wise takes knowledge, his foolishness goes down. When fools takes knowledge, they become more foolish because they start interpreting by their foolish intelligence and then they extract foolish conclusions from that. And then it creates a problem for them. They're going to loop. So, Stabda hi asmat upeksha, and this is very important. Upeksha means here disregard. As soon as we become fool and we start thinking we're intelligent, we start disregarding. Disregarding instructions of Krishna, disregarding instructions of spiritual master and devotees. That's the problem. That is number one problem. We start rejecting in our heart. Maybe not externally, but in our heart we start rejecting. We start thinking maybe our spiritual master or devotees are not correct. Maybe there's some wrong, logically something wrong. You see, the principle of devotion is don't contradict until unless you follow it. Don't do that. First follow, apply, and then you can ask questions. Without following, if you start doing things, you will not be able to understand anything, because this we are dealing with some metaphysical, let's use this word, some transcendental knowledge which is beyond our logic. In material world it's totally opposite. They first understand and then follow. Here first follow then understand. That's why in Bombay, Juhu, one reporter came to Prabhupada and they said, Prabhupada, can you make us understand Krishna is Supreme? How can we accept Krishna as Supreme? Prabhupada said, first accept. Then they argued, why Prabhupada? They said, first you make us understand, then we'll accept. Prabhupada said, no, first accept, and then I'll make you understand. They became really angry. They just went. And they stood up and went and they told, they were talking, and actually, I think Brahmanand Prabhu or who, I don't know who was there, he overheard, and he told Prabhupada that they were telling that this old man, he doesn't know Krishna, he has no idea. But actually they were fools, because spirituality is like that. Tad vidhi pranipatena. First you follow. Pranipatena. Then pariprasnena. So fools, they don't follow now. They try to understand by the limited knowledge. And then they start disregarding instructions. So the idea is, even if anything appears illogical to us, do it first. If authority is telling you. Authority here I mean in a proper authority. If senior devotees are telling you, just do it, no problem. Until unless it's a big major thing, just do it. What's the hassle? And then we can talk, no problem. That's okay. Even if you don't like, do it. It doesn't matter, You're getting your food, you're getting clothes, you're getting shelter. Just do it. Finish. Because if something goes wrong, then it's not our responsibility. Responsibility goes to the person who instructs us. He is responsible. He told me, I did it. And then you can talk. No problem. That's how we should live in devotee community. At least the idea is, even if that instruction is wrong, we have to give respect to the person who is instructing us. That's more important than following the instruction. Giving respect to that words. So fools don't do like that. They start disregarding. Mat shasanati gato. Because of disregarding orders of seniors and spiritual master, shasanati gato, that means they surpass the jurisdiction. They start violating the principles of devotion. We lose sadhana. We start overstepping our principles of sadhana. And you see, now we are falling down. Once you break rules, we are in clutches of Maya. As soon as we break rules. Yastam achirad bhrashyase shriya. Bhrashyase shriya. Bhrashyase means destruction. Shriya means opulence. All the opulence of devotee gets destroyed. What is our real opulence? Real wealth of devotees? Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, Seva sukha dukkha parama sampada. Our real wealth is the happiness and miseries we get while we serve Krishna. That's what Bhaktivedanta Thakur. It's not just happiness, it's miseries also. The sufferings we undergo while serving Krishna, that is actually more valuable to us than the happiness we experience when we serve Krishna. Because the sufferings are that will actually give us more happiness, because that we are struggling for Him. All of us like to remember our memories. What kind of memories? That we went to mountains for hiking or some beach. More than that, we like to remember we struggled, for our family. People like to remember, I struggled for my family. I struggled for my child. That's more pleasing to us when we remember in the past. Similarly, a devotee remembers all those kind of sufferings which he underwent to serve Krishna. In fact, the more we suffer for Krishna, for His service, Krishna says, Yagya dan tapa karma pavnani manishina. Real austerities in devotion is to actually take risk in preaching. Prabhupada says in one of his letters, the more risk you take, the more you will advance. So it's not just matter of service. It is matter of how much risk we take in that service. Otherwise we all are serving. So that's why Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kashidhatati siddhaya. Out of thousands, one will come to me. Out of thousands who come to me, one will attain me. Who is that one? We all are chanting, we all are doing arti, we are doing everything. That one was Prabhupada. Why? Why not his god brothers? Because he took risk. He did something which his god brothers didn't do, didn't dare to do. So Prabhupada says in so many of his letters, take risk for God, just like gopis did. They risked their husband, they risked their marriage. They just left their husbands, went to Krishna to meet them. They left their children. They went in dead night in the forest. They were so wild animals. They risked their life. So that is service and risk. It is difficult to take risk. But in service of Krishna, although there is risk, there is no failure. Because in devotion, failure is also success. We don't fail, Prabhupada says. In material world, success is also failure. In devotion, failure is also success. Because Krishna is seeing the intent. That's why Prabhupada says, Prabhupada said, no, shoot a rhinoceros. Prabhupada said, shoot a rhinoceros. Prabhupada said, no. So to shoot a rhinoceros is difficult because you have to shoot here. The rhinoceros skin is very hard. It's like an iron. So you have to shoot here. This is a soft part. But the problem is, there is a horn there. You can't shoot. Prabhupada is a shooter, rhinoceros. If you are not able to shoot him, people will praise you. Well, you tried, You risked your life. If you are able to shoot him, well, that's perfect. You get praised. So think big. Always think big. Always do something for Krishna. So that is Bhrashya se. People who are foolish, all their opulence is destroyed. Their wealth is destroyed. Real wealth is all these. They lose miseries. They lose service of Krishna. Now this is one meaning, which was bad meaning, which bad also helps us to understand, no? For a devotee, everything is his teacher. There are so many gurus if you want to learn. Bhagavatam says, Tattatre has 24 gurus. He learned from air, water, fire, ether. We can also learn from evil. Evil helps us to understand and to train us how to avoid it. So darkness helps to appreciate light. Evil also helps us to appreciate good things. That is why when you go for preaching, when you come back, then you appreciate devotees no more. If you are always staying in temple, if you don't go for preaching, you know what will happen? After some time we'll start fighting. It will happen. But if we go out and we see such bad people, and then we come, then we think, oh my God, devotees are so nice, they're so crazy people. We start appreciating. That's why Bhaktivedanta Swami Thakur, he didn't appreciate people just staying in temple. He said, get out. Prabhupada said, go out. It will benefit them, it will benefit you. It will help us to not do offenses against devotees, help us to appreciate them. So that is bad. We learn from this. We should not fall trapped into this. Now what is good? That's the genius of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, which Prabhupada quotes in the purport. Now he tries to play with Sanskrit here. Now I'll tell you how he did that, and Prabhupada writes in the purport. Prabhupada writes, Shukra is cursing, but actually what's happening, Shukra is saying Bali, that Pandita Mani Agya. Now if you join this word also means that Shukra is saying, in other words, that Bali, you're so learned that so many learned people praise you. This is not Agya, this is Gya. You take A there. In Sanskrit, it's a joint word. So you remove the A, Pandita Manina, it becomes. Pandita Manina means many highly learned persons think you are Gya. Gya means intelligent. He was intelligent. Because he was convinced Vishnu is supreme. And now most important point, this is very important and very touchy point, but it's there. Because of that, where's the verse? Stabda. We don't have that verse. It's gone. This one. Because he was so learned, stabda. Stabda means here without fear. Prabhupada said he didn't have any fear. Prabhupada says here. He had no fear of any condition of material existence. Stabda also means stunned. In Sanskrit, it also means without fear. He was absolutely fearless. Abhyam, bhayam dvitya viniveshita syat. As soon as you become disconnected to God, you have fear. Because his consciousness was connected. Although physically he was not. Vishnu was there, he was in some with demons, So he is teaching, even if you are surrounded by demons, but if your consciousness is connected to Krishna, no fear. Prahlad Maharaj, same. And because he was fearless, asmat upekshaya. Now this is the point of the verse. Because he was fearless, he was convinced Vishnu is supreme, he could even reject his guru. Now this is far out, Prabhupada says, because he was so learned, he could disobey orders of his spiritual master. So we can't do that. It's impossible. He was fixed in Krishna consciousness. He could understand his guru is wrong. And scriptures say that. Sanat Kumar Samhita warns us, if your guru deviates, it gives some conditions where you can reject your guru. If he deviates from principles, if he starts doing wrong things, if he indulges in evil activities, we are there to reject him. But for that, we have to be really be convinced, and also, for us, forget it. We don't have to go into all these things. These are big people. Bhishma, he rejected. Who was Bhishma fighting with? Pashuram? Yeah, Pashurama. Bhishma's guru, Pashuram. Pashuram came to fight with Bhishma because Amba, she requested Pashuram that, you know what, I want to marry Bhishma. Bhishma kidnapped them, no? Like 3 queens. And she told, I want to marry, but he's not marrying, and he kidnapped me. So she asked Pashuram help. Pashuram went and he said, Bhishma, you have to fight with me. Bhishma fought with him. And Pashuram became very happy. So sometimes you disobey to actually please also. That's also like there. So for that we have to be very expert in devotion. Bhaktisanta disobeyed orders of his spiritual master, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji said, never go to Calcutta. It's Maya Nagari. Bhaktisanta immediately went there and opened a temple. He disobeyed. But Gaur Kishore Babaji gave 3 instructions and he disobeyed all 3. Gaur Kishore Babaji said, don't make many disciples. He made. He said, don't go to Calcutta. He went. And one more instruction I forgot. And Gaur Kishore Babaji became very happy because Bhaktisanta could understand the intent of his spiritual master. So sometimes you disobey, not because you are disobeying, but you understand the intent and you do those things. There are many incidences in Srimad Bhagavatam like that. So because he was very intelligent, he could disobey the orders of his spiritual master. He knew that it might displease Shukracharya, but it will please the entire creation. It will benefit for his kingdom. So, and because of disobeying, mat shasana adhikatotum, you shall be benefit of all your opulences. Bhrashase shriya. So Prabhupada writes here that yes, he will be benefit of all his opulences, means he will be benefit of all the pride or all the material opulences, but he will attain spiritual opulence, that is his spiritual form. That is Krishna in his mind will accept him as a servant. That's what we are aiming for. If even once Krishna thinks about us as a servant, our life is successful. That's what we are aiming for. Nothing big short thing. That's all. Krishna, please in your heart think once that I am your servant, and our life is successful. That's the opulence which Bali gets, and Krishna actually becomes his guard in Sutal. He gets more than what he dreamt, and Bali Maharaj's life was successful. So this is how there are 2 meanings of this verse, and Prabhupada writes a beautiful commentary, and we can learn from Srimad Bhagavatam, Madhyastha Bhagavat Puran. This is the center of our lives. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki.